Hi everybody, Steve Griffiths here, developer of the MTPredictor software program. In today's video I'd like to look at some advanced analysis on the NQ, particularly in and around this TS4 cell setup here that arrived at 1400 at 2 o'clock on Friday afternoon. That was the 15th. If I put the session breaks on, you can see that this is the 15th. It opened and then rallied back up here. Now the interesting part was, as we were looking in our training webinar, is if we had a DP off our prior high, which would have been the pivot I'm circling here, put decision put on there, you can see how Friday's high rallied right into 15-minute decision point resistance, and that's what started this decline coming off here. So as we were talking about in the webinar, all MTPredictor customers were prepared for this decline because the 15-minute resistance was at that level. And if I put it on the 3-minute chart, you can see it would have been from that pivot. As you can see, it catches the high absolutely beautifully. So that's very nice to start with. The market then declined down. Now for me, the interesting part here was the pattern in the decline. So if I zoom in a bit and I right mouse click here and I do Elliott wave intermediate, can you see how this decline unfolded as a very nice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's a 5-wave decline. Now on the 15-minute chart, that low was in around here, so the market came down to our decision point support level there. Now what unfolded next I thought was very interesting indeed, because what we teach at MTPredictor is after a completed 5-wave sequence, the market is then likely to rally into the DP from the prior wave for high or low. So in other words, what we could have done at the time was gone back to this prior wave 4 pivot, right mouse click, select a decision point, and this decision point level here would have been the level that we're anticipating the market to go to before another high was due to be made. And as you can see, this actually unfolded brilliantly in that the market, in this case the NQ, rallied right up to this level before making a TS4 sell setup, and then the market declined sharply. But the point I'm trying to make is that this decision point level would have been on your chart in advance. In other words, you were prepared for this high to come in at this level even before the market even reached there. So as soon as this wave 5 low was in, as the market was rallying up, this level was here on your chart, ready and waiting for you. So as the market rallied up into this particular level, you can see it unfolded as an ABC pattern. That's confirmed by, if I place the analysis on the trade setup, you can see that that's an ABC. ABC is a corrective pattern, so when that went into that decision point level, you could know that that was anticipating high, and the NQ was then going to continue on down, and that's exactly what unfolded there. So that was a really nice TS4 sell setup because you were prepared in advance for that level where that TS4 sell setup unfolded. Confirmation with the STF color being either black or red means standard traders would have taken that anyway. So for standard traders, you'd have come down to this first level here where a plus 3.6R profit was available. You'd have come down, looked at the STF. The STF was just about going strong, in other words beyond the strength band, the grey line there. So you'd have trailed with your ATR stop, and you'd have probably been stopped out as the market rallied back up to around about that level there for plus 4.1R profit. So a very, very nice profit indeed. But could the advanced traders among you done a bit better? Well, let's go back to the 15-minute chart, because we always try to look at the 15-minute chart to get the larger degree trend direction. So here we were short of this high. Now, even though the market was rallying off this 15-minute decision point level, the market did go through that fairly quickly. So the only decision at this particular level here was a minor rally. But as we've already seen, that minor rally unfolded as an ABC on the shorter term charts. So that would have given you indication that there was no further upside potential in the NQ, and the NQ is going to decline and go down. So the question being is, where is it most likely to stop? Well, as we teach, we go back to the last pivot low, or the last main pivot low, which is the one as of the low of the 14th of Feb here. So if I right mouse click off here, again this would have been on the chart in advance before the market even got there. And can you see how the NQ came all the way down here, tagged this low absolutely beautifully before then rallying strongly into the close. But again, the point being is that these decision point levels are leading indicators. They're on the chart there in advance before the market even gets there. So how could have that helped you on your 3-minute chart? Well, if I just clear everything off here, and I'll just change this to a 15-minute chart. There we go. I'll put the decision point on. So I've got 2 of them on there, sorry about that, double mouse click, and there it is on there ready. Let's go back to the 3-minute chart and see how that would have helped you. Right, so here you were short off this high. We've already seen that this high was a lovely ABC rally after a 5-wave decline, also at the decision point from the wave 5 low as well. So lots of reasons why that was a good trade there. But let's see what happened here as the market started to come down. Well, it came down, and then hit this 15-minute support zone. So the question being is, what should you have been doing as the market came down and hit this large degree support zone? Well, you knew that the large degree support zone was most likely to result in some kind of rally. In other words, the NQ rallying off that particular zone. So surely it makes sense to then start to bring your stop a little bit closer to the market and say just trail above the last bar's high. Particularly as on this bar here, which I'm put the cursor over, that bar there, which was at 14.48, you would be locking in about 6.8R profit. So in other words, you could have then been stopped out at pretty much the low of the day there, and then obviously sat out as the market rallied into the close there. Remember we used correct position sizing. In this case, this would have been to sell 11 contracts to keep the initial risk small under control. In this case, 2% of a sample $20,000 account. The result of this was the profit was approximately $2,600, or approximately 6.8 times the initial risk. That's why we refer to everything in risk units. So a profit of 6.8R was a very good result because it allowed you to make a large profit for a small initial risk. But can you all see how first and foremost this particular sell setup was a really good and obvious sell setup, because it came after the end of a 5-wave decline, and particularly because the DP, as I've already shown, off that wave 4 high was anticipating this resistance area well in advance. The rally unfolded as an ABC. An ABC is a corrective pattern. That's why when you went to the 15-minute chart, you wouldn't have anticipated any further rally off here, because the rally only unfolded as an ABC corrective pattern. The market then declined. It declined down right into the 15-minute support zone at the low there, and that allowed you to then start to trail your stop a little bit closer to then lock in that profit. So looking back on the day, a very good trade setup, and of course we forgot to mention yet again that we were actually caught the very high of the day on the NQ there, with that decision point coming in at that start point there. So for MTPredictor users, nailing the high of the day, nailing the low of the day, and actually catching a very nice short trade on the way down there as well, particularly as all this pattern fitted in very nicely with this particular TS4 sell setup there. So a good day on the NQ for MTPredictor users.